What inspires today's youth to see no personal boundaries, breaking barriers to achieve their full potential? Pretty much in short, the hungry, the motivated. This is going to be the Shapoorji, Pallonji Company and Private Limited Legacy session. We got a short video, but before the video, let's introduce our speakers. Very dear friends and all the panels from the UAE, great memories. Our first speakers, speaker one, Jasmine, Tavadia and Charmaine, Taraporvala. I grew up with these guys. I pretty much passed school because of Jasmine. Having been born and raised in the UAE has given Charmaine Taraporvala the opportunity to experience and appreciate many cultures brought by the melting pot of nationalities that call Dubai home. Her aerospace engineering qualifications from the Emirates Aviation College and Kingston University, London, have secured a bright future in the fast-paced aviation industry as planning engineer with Dubai Airwing, the Royal Flight for Dubai. Being born and bred in Dubai, Jasmine Tavadia has seen the city transform into the beautiful and bustling metropolis that is today, and she's proud to call it home. After finishing high school in Dubai, she went to USA for further studies and graduated with a degree of biopsychology and cognitive sciences from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Ladies and gentlemen, my absolute privilege, I call them my good friends, Jasmine Tavadia and Charmaine Taraporvala.
We believe that the power of many is greater than the power of one, that working together is succeeding together. We have not just believed in this approach, but also lived by it. For 150 years, we are stronger together. What was the driving force behind this extraordinary journey? People. The people who work for us. The people who work with us. And the people we work for. In our 150th year, we are celebrating the contributions of these very people. Like all great journeys, ours too had a modest beginning. But very soon, we had built many impressive structures, starting with a water reservoir to luxury residences, from a railway station to business centers, from a cricket stadium to the headquarters of India's prominent financial institutions. From one of India's leading hospitals to a royal palace. The structures that we have built are testimony to our technological prowess and ability to make the impossible possible. To our tradition of partnering with the best and delivering the best in record time. our focus on fueling sustainable growth today and tomorrow. To our commitment to transform 1 million lives. To the ability to make our mark worldwide. So, what forms the solid foundation of these long-lasting landmarks?
It is our values, building trust and reliability, the nurturing of people, and being adaptive and agile has helped us reach this far.
It's these values that have brought together people from diverse backgrounds. And this tremendous force, called people, has helped us grow. From a small company in 1865 to a $3 billion conglomerate in 2015. From operations in one country to 43 countries. From a company with employees of one nationality to over 40. From one business sector to 13 different sectors. And what do the next 150 years have in store for us?
We would like to lay the foundations for a more impactful presence across the globe by focusing all our efforts to make the world a better place to live in. We will continue to partner with our people and look forward to growing stronger together. Technology will remain the backbone on which we will grow all our businesses over the next 150 years. To ensure that Shapoorji Pallonji is the finest engineering firm in the world.
We are Shapoorji Pallonji.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call upon our first speakers, Jasmine, Tavadia and Charmaine, Taraporvala, to address their topic to the delegation.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, thank you for having us here today at the 6th World Zoroastrian Youth Congress. We are indeed very excited to be here in Auckland. I'm Jasmine, and this is Charmaine, and to us this Congress is all about celebrating and challenging. Our topic today is what inspires today's youth to see no personal boundaries, breaking barriers to achieve their full potential. We
We appreciate and admire the creativity that you have all brought to this platform. We'll be doing our presentation in two parts. The first is a presentation, a slideshow, and the second is an inspirational film that we've made especially for this occasion.
We all know that history is replete with the names of great people such as Mother Teresa, Jamshedji Tata, and Richard Branson. What do they have in common? All of them overcame great adversity and broke barriers to achieve success. Have you guys thought about what inspires you?
So let's pause for a minute to think. Who or what is the biggest inspiration in your lives? Can it be a person, a landmark, or your lucky charm? Whatever it is, keep it safe and close to motivate and inspire you. For us, there is no bigger inspiration than our families and the city that we call home, Dubai. Dubai has grown in such a short amount of time and so vastly that we are so proud to call it our home. But when you really think about it, you'll soon realize that the biggest inspiration in your life should be none other than you yourself.
Gandhi once said that you must be the change you wish to see in this world. The best illustration of this is Jamshedji Tata, whose biggest dream for India was to build a steel plant. But when Tata Steel opened its doors in 1907, a skeptical British officer scoffed that he would eat every ton of steel that they produced. Ironically, when World War I broke out, it was Tata that provided the steel for railway extensions that were absolutely crucial for the British campaign. And the absolute cherry on the icing, Tata Steel took over Chorus, the British steel manufacturing company, a few years back.
Also remember, time is limited, so don't waste it. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Furthermore, always remember that every thought you produce, anything you say, and any action you do bears your signature. In other words, it's a trinity of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds that we have all grown up with. That should be your guiding light.
All right, so let's look at some of the stepping stones to success. The first one is inner core of belief. I'm going to have to look at my notes. No matter what your current situation is, continue your journey as a true Zoroastrian. Be adventurous, enthusiastic, and determined. In fact, many governments are noticing these qualities in today's youth. They are actually encouraging them and involving them in various initiatives. Dubai is expected to become the green economy capital of the world by 2021, in which youth like us will be actively involved.
Next is your self-support system. Many of us are blessed with strong families and good educational facilities, but there are some who don't have a proactive support system. In such situations, don't be a barrier to yourself. Develop your abilities, skills, and talents to achieve against all odds. Don't forget, Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he succeeded in lighting that bulb. As he said, if we did all the things we are capable of, we would truly astound ourselves.
The next one is emotional self-protection. Don't be disheartened by failure, because real difficulties, they can always be overcome. It is only the imaginary ones that are unconquerable. Also, every no should just become a stepping stone to strive harder to attain your goals. Our forefathers did just that to build a glorious heritage, so let's build on that.
Next, select your mentors and coaches. You don't always have to have someone physically present next to you to mentor and coach you. Technology and social media are offering youth greater flexibility, connectivity, and adaptability. This enables them to draw inspiration, internalize philosophies, and model themselves. Today's youth are the most connected generation in human history, but make rules on the basis of reason. Have strong ethos, and you will be a winner.
Next one's quite simple, it's single-mindedness. No matter how long it takes, don't quit. We have to make the 21st century ours.
And finally, your inner strength and mental toughness. Mental toughness is many things. It's a mix of humility, simplicity, and fearlessness. So don't let anyone bar your windows. Let them open doors for you to enable yourself to build a brighter future for yourself. Now, let's enjoy an inspirational film made by our very talented friend Hanos Damdar in Dubai on the aspirations of a young Zoroastrian.
I am young. I am Zoroastrian. I am not on my way to extinction. I am the future, and I will shape it to my aspirations. Help me, don't hinder me. I know I belong to a glorious heritage. Let it be a stepping stone into my future, not a millstone, not a stumbling block. I want an education that will prepare me. I want the opportunity to exploit my full potential. I want to continue the intellectual and professional lineage that made my tiny community punch above its weight, that made us synonymous with enterprise and public service, that made us the finest examples of integration with the larger community. I want to seize the 21st century, not be dragged back into the 19th century by regressive, egoistic agendas. I want a future as well as a past. I am a young Zoroastrian. Don't bar my windows. Open the doors. Where my mind is without prejudice and my head is held high. Where knowledge is free. Where our community stands united and not fragmented. Where rules are made on the basis of reason and common sense. Where tireless striving stretches my arms towards perfection. Into that heaven of achievement, help me arrive. O Ahura Mazda.
Thank you to everyone that helped. I know y'all are not here, but thank you anyway. We hope you guys have enjoyed our presentation today. Remember, the only person that you are destined to be is what you decide to become. So just please bear that in mind. And more important than that, and most important of all, at every stage of life, you need to be proud and happy with your own accomplishments. Thank you, everybody, and thanks to Tinaz and your entire team for a wonderful opportunity.
Sorry guys, technology's not with me today. Right, very powerful videos, a great message. Inspiring, motivational, yeah, love it. Great. Alright guys, moving on straight into our next speaker. Autusa Behroozi, born in Dallas, Texas, has been a member of the Zoroastrian Association of Northern Texas since she can remember. She's co-founded Raise for a Cause, a non-profit organization whose mission is to build a healthier society and a young generation of volunteers. Currently she studies architecture and architectural engineering at the University of Texas in Austin. Her academic interests lie in environmental and sustainable architecture, and she's active in various on-campus activities. She frequently attends Zoroastrian Youth Games and Congresses. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Autusa Behroozi.
Okay, so to achieve your full potential, maybe you feel stuck in your lives right now between jobs. And all this means that you want to break either personal boundaries or boundaries in your education or in your major or in your job, or maybe you want to raise or something. And how would you go about doing that? So we're going to learn how to do that. I think there are two things that you need. You need inspiration and you need motivation. And this is quite an abstract topic, so you can get inspiration and motivation from anywhere and everywhere, is what I've realized. So we're going to look at this childhood movie called Ratatouille. How many of you have seen it? Very nice, very nice. Good taste. Okay. So, this movie repeatedly says that anyone can cook. But the true premise of this movie is that not everybody can be a great artist. But a great artist can be anybody. So, pertaining to inspiration, we know that not everything inspires you. Everybody's different, but you can get inspiration from anywhere. So again, not everything inspires you, but you can get inspiration from anywhere. So before I came, I wanted to do some research to let y'all know that the information that I'm giving you is in fact credible. I interviewed some people from our community. These are young Zoroastrians our age who I believe are successful. And these were some of their responses to my question about how they broke their barriers. One of them said, I want to be successful in life, and money would be a part of that. So success, our own passion. Number 2, I'm inspired by my community and faith. All you all inspire each other, and your faith, Zoroastrianism, inspires you. I'm inspired by my mom. He was a mama's boy, but it's true. You're inspired by your family. They always motivate you. They're always there for you. Then I inspired people that weren't from our faith, and they had very similar responses. The motive to make my parents proud and accomplish the things that they weren't given the opportunity for, also in search of reaching self-happiness, so self-actualization and success. I get my inspiration from other people, whether it may be my peers or adults. Seeing other people break down barriers is validation for me that I can. As a collective group, we constantly inspire and motivate each other. You all inspire each other. Doing what they love inspires youth to break down boundaries, your passion. Positive atmosphere, family, friends, school, and creativity. So all these are responses from youth our age, which tells us how they broke down their barriers. Going along with the theme of this Congress, which is sustainability, I wanted to give you an example of one of the people I idolize and how he broke down barriers. His name is Rahul Mehrotra. He was a Harvard graduate and he spoke at our school. He does a lot of work in India, and his passion lies in bringing the two socioeconomic groups together in India. So a lot of you have probably been to India, just a show of hands. Okay. How many of you have noticed that in India, the low-income classes are very separated from the high-income classes? There we go. There's not very much mobility through the socioeconomic classes. If you're low-income, a lot of times you stay low-income. And there aren't opportunities for you, or as many as the people who are high-income. And he was very passionate about this, being from India himself. So his work wanted to tear down the boundaries between the rich and poor classes through architecture. And he did this by a sustainable tactic. This is the CMC corporate office in Hyderabad, and the exterior skin of this building is made out of vines. And what this does is that the vines let in controlled lighting, so the interior is not heated, but at the same time it's well lit, so you don't need a lot of artificial lighting like light bulbs in this room. And second of all, it provides a lot of oxygen to the corporate people working in there. So a lot of times if you've been in a casino, they provide a lot of oxygenated air so that you feel like you need to be there and you're excited and you're pumped all the time. So the vines do the same thing to these workers here. They provide high oxygenated air, so the work that they do there is more efficient. And the third thing is that it brings the two socioeconomic classes together. On the right, those are low-income classes, and on the left, they're the corporate workers. And these plants and vines need upkeep. They need water, they need nutrients. They need to be checked once in a while. And so when these low-income workers come and they take care of the plants, they have to be in contact with these corporate workers. And that breaks down a boundary. Now these people are forced to work together in the same environment. So again, he broke down 3 different boundaries. Sustainability. He improved the gap between the rich and the poor classes in India. And he had a soft threshold, which means that his building, instead of being a concrete wall between the inside, which had the corporate workers, and the outside, which was all the poor classes, he made it made out of glass and had it surrounded by vines, which means that you can see inside and gaze on what's going on inside, and also the poor classes were more welcome and able to come in. So he broke down these 3 different boundaries, and he did that through his passion for India and bringing the 2 classes together, and his knowledge and sustainability. We need to do the same thing in our lives. We need to find what we're passionate about, what motivates us, and what inspires us. And you can get that from anywhere in the world. You can get that from your interests, your values, your community, your people, and your faith. So, thank you for listening. And I wanted to open the floor and ask y'all what inspires you. Make this more of an interactive conversation and discussion rather than a presentation. So raise your hands. Anyone want to volunteer?
Question was, what inspires me? People like you. Just standing here. Remember the first day when you had a member of Parliament come in and say, stepping out of your comfort zone? You're doing that. So good job on that. Right? Good job.
Thank you. Anybody else in their own lives broken a personal boundary or been inspired or motivated by something or someone?
We can't really talk what Tyra said.
Well, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try, so.
Step out of your comfort zone, right?
Anyone from the organising committee was inspired you guys to get started? 4.5 years, I know that. Got you on the spot, T. I know it's you.
My family inspires me, at least when they're not acting like a bunch of crazy bawas. Outside of that, they're very inspirational.
It's very true. Our families are what we grew up with. They're the first thing we ever saw. And a panel that I was on last time, one of the people that were with me told me that your family is the biggest influence in your life. And so they are also the biggest inspiration and motivation for you. And I personally agree with that. Family is very important to me, and they help you break down barriers. So. Anybody else?
For me, it's our heritage. That Shapoorji Pallonji video, I mean, I had goosebumps for about it. Zoroastrian entrepreneurship is what caused that global empire. How awesome is that?
Thank you.
What about the fact that our religion just promotes good words, good thoughts, good deeds? I think that's something really good to apply, just for any individual, no one is Zoroastrian. So the fact that we have that just ingrained in our religion is something that I think is pretty special and quite inspiring.
Yeah. Our religion is definitely very inspiring. I come to these congresses, and every time I hear another speech, I get more and more excited and more passionate about our religion because it's truly applicable to every situation. And I really appreciate that. Proud to be a Zoroastrian.
Any last questions anyone wants to add on? Was someone up here? No? All right. Autusa Behroozi, ladies and gentlemen, that was a great session. Thank you very much. All right, guys, before we get into straight into our next speaker, Mr. Nigel Shroff, born and raised in Hong Kong. Nigel is the son of current president of the Zoroastrian Charity Funds of Hong Kong, Canton and Macau, Mr. Nigel Shroff. Nigel completed his tertiary education in the United Kingdom, graduating from Durham University with a Bachelor of Science in Economics in 2009, followed by reading a Master of Science in Management in China and Emerging Markets at the University of Nottingham. In 2010, Nigel relocated to Shanghai, joining Bros. You might want to correct me on that. That's the best way to pronounce it. It's all right. I'll try my best. Farazuchio, the world's 5th largest family-owned automotive supplier, as a finance analyst. There, Nigel helped set up and expand their operations in China. In 2011, Nigel moved to Beijing, studying Mandarin at the Beijing Language and Cultural University before joining HSBC in 2013 back in Hong Kong. Nigel has had numerous roles in HSBC, first as market risk analyst, covering HSBC's regional exposure of their equity products, and currently within the regional compliance team covering global banking and markets for HSBC in Asia Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very great session with Nigel. It's my absolute privilege, Mr. Nigel Shroff.
First of all, thanks and apologies for that. That sounds more like a corporate or a dating profile, but there you go. So my name is Nigel Shroff. I'm from Hong Kong. It's my first youth congress, and I think I'm the only one here from Hong Kong. So in terms of breaking boundaries, I think that's a first for us. And having spoken to teenagers and all, this would be something great that we would like to see probably happen or host this in Hong Kong going forward. So keep an eye out for this space. Now for the topic today, I was told to provide my personal insight into this discussion, and like my previous speakers, it is quite vast and it's quite subjective. So I'm going to provide my insight from a finance perspective, and having been born and raised in Hong Kong, which has been the gateway to China for a number of years. Beautiful. So firstly, let's stress, again, it's very subjective. So when I first sat down and I tried to go through this topic, I wanted to see what were my personal boundaries. Chances are maybe not a lot of people have thought about it, like what is a boundary to you, what is a limitation. So the first time I really did sit down and think about it was when I was discussing this topic. So I've listed out here a few personal boundaries of my own. And so in a nutshell, this is what they are. So firstly, comfort zone. I mean, this is essential. I live in a world where opportunities are endless, and in order to take advantage of what the world has to offer, we need to venture out more out of our comfort zones. I've been fortunate enough to be presented with numerous opportunities. Having lived in a number of different countries and experiencing different cultures has really helped me step out of that comfort zone. And I think I'd like to throw it back to when Jimmy presented. He said something about breaking up with your mother back in your previous lecture, and I think that's really important. So just sort of getting out there, getting, as a Zoroastrian as well, getting into the world, experiencing new things. That is really something that can help you break your personal boundary and really inspire you along your journey to sort of achieving your full potential, so to speak. Change is a constant in all walks of life. Personally, I get too comfortable too easily, and I see that as a massive limitation. I think the key to overcoming this is, again, to immerse yourself in contrasting environments, making yourself easily adaptable to change. That's a huge life skill. It's very beneficial to anyone, and I really do think that is a great way to start to break down some sort of personal boundaries that you see. Traditional values, Zoroastrian, my own family values. I'm quite traditional in it, and it's always been an element and a key element in what I've always looked at to try and lead a positive life. I think our own mantra of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds is what I said before. Is a really good great stepping stone, a great foundation, and a great level of inspiration for not just a Zoroastrian, but any sort of human being in terms of doing the right thing and leading a great life, therefore. Critical overthinking. I'm very prone to this, I'm sure many others are. It's a very negative thing I feel for me, but I'm always assessing what could go wrong instead of what could go right. And I think that in order to sort of get the benefit of what you're trying to do, just get on with it. You know, go out and do it, and you'll reap the benefits along the way. If not, you'll learn a great experience from it. So there's always two sides to the coin. So now that I've provided a personal overview, I'll try and break down the topic into these 4 themes. Entrepreneurship, technology, emerging markets and globalization, personal development platform. I understand it's just before lunch, so I'll just try and get going really quickly. So I want to talk about entrepreneurship. I mean, a great source of inspiration right now that we're seeing is the rise of entrepreneurships and startups, and it's something that's really interesting to me. More so in terms of the entrepreneurial side is the rise of young entrepreneurs that we're seeing, especially the sort of creative technology-based industry that we've got. Guys like Even Spiegel from Snapchat, Kevin System from Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. These guys are all early 30s, under 30s. You know, these are 3 standout entrepreneurs. And what they have that are really quite constant in all 3 of their lives is the fact that they've been called controversial in some way, form, or another. You know, that to me is showing that they're not. You know, they're willing to challenge the status quo, they're willing to get out of their comfort zone, they're willing to do things that people wouldn't usually do. You know, they're willing to take risks. So, in that respect, you know, that in themselves is breaking down personal boundaries, and that can be an inspiration to other people and what they're trying to achieve. The rise of startups, it allows a non-conventional style of thinking. So, you know, people are not really people are looking at the fact that you can get ahead by being creative, by being your own self. You know, everyone's got, all the youth of today, they have great creative minds. You know, look at that. Go within yourself to find what you're trying to achieve. And I think that will be a great source of inspiration for you. Oh, sorry. That's not my slide. Next point I'd like to talk about is the corporate generation, or the decline of thereof. So, what do I mean by this? I'm a big believer that the corporate generation is, you know, all our families, you know, when we were younger, especially mine, when I was younger, my parents, you know, they want to look at the fact that either, you know, you grow up to be a doctor or a lawyer or a banker. You know, that is perceived as the way forward in terms of what is a good person or a good job, so to speak. But, you know, that's diminishing. Like, from what I've spoken about before, you've got guys now who are going against the norm, who are being very successful, who are arguably maybe smart in what they're doing, and that just shows that there's a decline in these corporate and traditional stereotypes, you know, that we may find as Zoroastrians or we may find in the world to be. And it's actually quite inspiring, that in itself, the fact that you can be who you want to be, and if you are who you want to be, and you're persistent at it, and you keep doing what you're doing, you know, you could be very successful. You could lead a very good life. Okay. Fintech. Just to touch on that, fintech is now, you know, fintech startups are now giving banks a very different competition in terms of being able to offer services that provide an alternative to traditional banking. So even banks are getting run scared by the fact that, you know, the Silicon Valley, you know, startups are rising, and this is something that's really interesting. I personally find, and I think that is another source of great inspiration. And again, the increased use of social media. How many times have we seen people, you know, get famous or become successful by posting blogs on YouTube, or, you know, reaching out to a wider network? You know, that is something that, you know, is low cost. Just do someone doing what they love, and that's to me that's what this topic is all about, really breaking their barriers and getting their message out to the rest of the world. So, emerging markets and globalization. So this is a key concept in enhancing personal characteristics that can probably help one and be more what they want. You know, the rise of globalization allows great opportunities for one to take. I personally believe that travel is a must. I think that if you're trying to benefit yourself or better yourself, you need to travel, you need to experience different things, different cultures, different opportunities. And this will effectively grow your net wider. So you allow more opportunities to come through, and if you do that, it helps you grow as an individual. You might not see it now, I definitely didn't, but you'll probably see it a few years down the line, and it'll actually grow you as a person. And I feel at the age of 20 to 30, the youth type of age, that's probably the best way to do it. I like to use an example of China actually, and the shift in attitude. The shift in attitude between the old and new generations. So what I see in China now is that back in the day, people were making money, they were saving money. Now it's about, the young generation going out, spending that money, going overseas, and then bringing all the expertise back to China, and then taking senior positions in banks, or growing their force. Jack Ma, richest man in China, he started an idea based on the fact that there was no internet in China. He's now running Alibaba, which is the equivalent of Amazon in China. Simple idea, huge. This guy, just a thought, that's how he does it. So he broke his own boundaries and basically moved to China when that was on hold back in the day. Personal development platform. I think that the one key attribute to breaking your boundary and inspiring yourself is you. Okay, you need to you need to sort out your personal boundaries. Again, it's subjective, it's about you, but it's down to you. You need to take the risk. You need to be inspired by yourself to go and do it. No one's going to be able to do things but you. If you're a negative person, if you're not ready to take that challenge, you're never going to do it. So you need to find something within yourself that's going to go and help you benefit yourself. And finally, I like to use this quote, which is something I've actually found on the internet previously, but it's quite timely. It's by Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So touching on what I said before, if you think you can do something, if you think you can achieve it, no matter what anybody says, you'll do it. If you think you can't, you won't. And even if you think you do and you fail, you'll still be able to get those opportunities and learn from those experiences. So I think that's it. Thank you very much for having me. Have a very wonderful new year, and thank you.